society and the authority that can be used from it.
Mm.
Of course, it makes sense that it would like, well, yeah, you got to have a PhD. So the only way you can use this, it's a really serious situation, right?
I have a psychology degree. I've never gotten anything at all.
If you imagine it conceptually, like, what would you do with that? That wouldn't either be kind of pointless, maybe marketing. You could use
Oh, yeah.
You could use psychology to understand it, but then that's a specific type of
Yeah.
marketing and psychology, right?
Yeah.
And then the other jump is all the way up to giving advice to people about their lives and emotional state, and that, of course, that would require
A license.
more responsibility. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like there's
Yeah.
the gap between utility and like severity of
Right.
like, what you impact is like huge.
Right. Did you want me to just turn the slides for you?
I thought it's gonna be awkward, so I kind of planned for like the group.
I'll be a participant.
Okay.
And I know at
Yeah.
our other, when I practiced, if you had one in your group, sometimes it happened. They didn't want you to bill as a group. You billed as an individual, obviously. When you had two, then you could go either way. You could do individual or a group because it's $33 an hour. And then when you had three, they would require you to bill as a group. If that helps anything.
It does.
Speaking practicality and real life situations. Do you want to chair anything? Or
Can I sit?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just hand me my bag. Thank you. Yep.
All right.
And just see us all as participants, and I'll turn your slides for you.
So today's group, well, first, my name is Miera, and I'll be leading the session on coping with stress and anxiety. The goal for today's session is to give us some tools to manage stress, learn about healthy coping strategies, and share experiences if we feel comfortable. Before we start, I did put some guidelines. So some of the guidelines are everything shared in the group stays confidential. Be present and engaged, so no phones. Speak from your own experience, such as like using I statements, and listen without judgment. And then for my warm up, I did like a little check in. So if you feel comfortable, you could share one word that describes how you're feeling today. For me, I said I feel excited. Just to, like, it's my only class of the day, so
You're done.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel exuberant. Another way of saying it, it's a little more detailed.
I feel annoyed, semi-unrelated, but like I had my wedding band. I was going to go get it fixed, and then when I got it quoted, it was $200, and I looked online to buy just a 14K wedding band. It was $200, and so I'm not going to fix it. I'm going to still get it blessed by our priest and
Yeah, why
whatnot,
not?
but I'm going to have double the gold for the same price that they're going to quote me for fixing it. I'm like, I'm not going to fix it.
It's kind of silly to think
So I was pissed. I was like, I said, when you're married, it helps and you can say, well, any purchase over 50, me and my wife are going to talk about it. Is it okay if I bring this back? They did fix a chain that I had for $38 that was hers. And I guess it like matches this thing. Kind of. But this, I'm keeping it, and I'm not paying
No,
$200
no,
to add like that much gold into it. I'm buying a whole new size 10 wedding band with gold.
You know what? That's a good realization of it is the inflation of labor costs.
Yeah.
When they're at the same rate as the material, there's a problem.
I was
It's like, wait a
pissed.
sec.
Because I did want my original wedding band from our wedding, but I talked to her. She's like, yeah, just buy a new one. I'm like, here we go.
That's an argument for trade.
And you can sign up on Amazon for a work business credit card. They gave me $200, so it's basically free. I had to sign up for an American Express card for business, which I do have my own private practice and whatnot. So it did end up being free, but I was still annoyed to take the whole day to drive to Cincinnati.
Okay, so for my topic overview, We're going to talk about stress and anxiety, like I said. These are normal reactions to challenging situations like school, work, or personal responsibilities. Some signs of stress and anxiety can include feeling tense, restless, trouble sleeping or like concentrating on things, irritable, mood swings. Physical symptoms like headaches, stomach aches, or like just simply like feeling weak in the body. Learning coping strategies can help us manage these feelings before they become too overwhelming for us to deal with. And so, some of the coping strategies that I put on my slide and to tell you guys about was deep breathing. So, like slow, steady breaths can help. That's like an easy one. Progressive muscle relaxing, tensing and relaxing your muscles can release the tension in your body. Mindfulness meditation, paying attention to the present moment without judgment. Journaling, which is something that I do a lot, is writing down thoughts and feelings that can provide clarity. And then physical activity, exercise, walking, stretching. You do any of those?
Every single one.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I do like the tense and release muscle one because that seems unique. It makes sense.
Mhm.
But I'm trying to think of what muscle I would tense and release the
It
most.
doesn't really matter too,
I
because
guess.
it's similar to mindfulness practice.
Yeah,
It takes
okay.
you out of your head and into your body.
Yeah.
So today we're going to try one of these together. So for my main activity, I did deep breath exercising. So this only take about like 5 minutes. So we're going to sit comfortably. You can close your eyes if comfortable. Take a slow deep breath through the nose for 4 seconds, hold it for 2 seconds, and then slowly exhale through your mouth for 6 seconds. And we're going to do it 5 times. So, until you feel like you're relaxed. So you can start when you're ready. Okay, so that's something that helps. And then also, if you were at home or like outdoors, you put like a headphones in or play some calming music to go along with the breathing exercise. So when you guys did that, did you notice your body relaxing or your thoughts slowing down?
It's grounding.
Yeah. For sure.
What did you notice most during the exercise? Like, what did it make you feel most?
But it takes you out of your head, so you're constantly looping thoughts in your mind about people and things that you should be doing, what you did before. So in that moment, you're kind of only capable of holding on to one thing. So I was holding on to the breath and concentrating, so it took me out of the head, for sure.
Okay. Do you feel like you could use this skill during the week, like just in, I don't really want to say like at random times, but like, do you feel like it would be useful in other scenarios besides like our group session?
Oh yeah, I mean, people could use it, nonstop. Really. There's a lot of situations in life where you're annoyed, frustrated, distracted, right? Getting in your head thinking too deeply about something, overthinking something, and this is the most effective thing to do during that time.
Yes.
One of the ways they talk about it is called creating a gap between stimulus and response. Stimulus of life, instead of responding, you stop and do this, and it creates a habit of the byproduct is thinking. It's not just that you start to breathe, but you start to get this gap that appears, so you're no longer just reacting. You're holding your head. What's going on? Huh?
You get a 5-second pause in between them.
With that 5 seconds, it's
I
like
know.
literally a million, might as well
Yeah.
be forever. It's
Yeah.
an amazing skill.
Okay, and then before we finish, let's think about one takeaway from today's session. I did have it like for you guys to write down, but it's only 3 of us, so we could just say it out
Write
loud.
it if you want.
And then I would say I encourage you to try at least one coping strategy this week. It could be deep breathing, journaling, or even going for a walk, which you guys said that you do most coping. So that's good already. Writing it down or telling a friend can help you remember to practice it. And yes, and then I put resources. It's the last slide.
Okay.
Campus counseling services. So Dr. Hunt, of course, she's the main one. I put the crisis hotline up there, and then a primary care provider or a therapist. And then one that I didn't put up there would be like family members or a trusted friend that you can tell or talk to. Yeah, that's my presentation. Thank you.
Yeah, I would add on that when it comes to coping skills, all of these things get exponentially better for everybody if you not only do these things, these practices, but you invite somebody to give advice on your reflections. That's something we don't talk about coping skills. We say like, hey, tell your friend about it eventually. But like the biggest thing is to actually invite them. Hey, what does this mean to you? What do you think about this? And just try to prepare yourself for being vulnerable. That's the first thing we do is get triggered, we put up defenses, but we got to be open-minded. Go, nope, I'm going to take it all in, and then realize that I still get to decide what I think about the situation. Sometimes we block stuff just because of it. One of the biggest things in coping skills nowadays that I notice in my field is we're equating too many details of it with passive versus active. And if you know anything about both, passive is the same as like the worst versions are drinking and smoking, but even television, just listening to music, right? The reason they're passive is because they don't let you work with it. They just have you watching a soccer game as opposed to being in there moving the ball yourself. And so you can adapt them slightly by going, okay, I'm gonna use a walking meditation, listen to music, do a deep breathing with something in my ear, and then I'm gonna allow myself to think about the emotional states without an answer coming, right? So instead of why do I feel this way because of this, just going, I feel this way, I feel this way. And then afterwards sharing that and getting some advice from somebody about it, and then revisiting, reflecting on it. That kind of process we don't talk about much.
So maybe instead of just listening to music, singing along with it even? Would that
Well,
be?
again, the key feature here is
Creating.
engagement with a real issue. So why are you listening to music? Well, it's because me and my partner had a fight. What did the fight make you feel? Well, I felt this. It made me do this. I noticed I wanted to run. Like you literally think about these things out loud,
Mhm.
and then tell them to somebody else, and say, "What do you think that means knowing me? What do you think that means knowing the relationship? What do you think this means to you?" And then trusting that whatever they say is objective or subjective. It doesn't have to be real. So you can kind of reduce that defense, and then reappraising what you just said to yourself. Like, okay, now does it make me feel? Why do I think it made? Do I agree with my original, diagnosis of why it made me feel that way?
Yeah.
Just this I've been studying both, and I just realized active skills, it's very clear. They don't just do the stuff that we preach about coping skills being coping skills. We're just we lean on this passive version of it that's just not, it's just void of like health issues, right? It's not drinking. And drinking, we know when you drink, it's bad for your body, period, right?
Yeah.
But we don't think about like, well, all the other stuff we're promoting has everything but that. It's like the same as like a drinking thing where you ignore your problem. It de-escalates you and it prolongs the time between like the event and you thinking about it, but it's so easy in that transition to then forget and then move on and go, I don't want to deal with it, right? And that's the worst thing. That actually is the opposite of coping. That's actually guaranteeing you to repeat the problem. not only are you guaranteed to repeat it, but the next time you get to it, because you had that form of resistance in a way, you're actually more resistant to it in the future. So you become more defensive, you become more quick to try to stop it, because you're like, I don't want to go back into that state again, right? The quality that we don't talk about enough in psychology is that it has to have, it's very basic, it has to have deep thought about the actual thing, objective and subjective. Like, be critical about yourself. Like, maybe I'm kind of a butthole sometimes. Maybe I'm not. Whatever. All the diversity of it. Telling somebody and then just letting that energy of them criticizing you and going, oh, and just feeling that kind of hurt. That's why it's good to have an objective observer, like a counselor versus someone who's close to you. And then revisiting again. Okay, and this is why it's useful to write down or create the first form before you reflect, before you have someone reflect on it with you. Then reflect again on the original piece, right? Whether that's art or writing, and say, now what is different from my thinking after getting that input? And what do I think about it now? You don't have to have an answer. You're not going to end up with, oh, now I know how to never have that problem again. But you just trust, okay, that process, that thing, that soup that I just mixed together, now it's a different form. It's like a different formula inside of me. And next time I'm in that situation again with that same trigger, you'll notice, if you pay attention, you'll be like, wow, I handle that differently. Right? And that is in essence what coping is. It's like, it's not, we confuse it with passive de-escalation, right? And we confuse the idea that there should be some tangible answer in the moment of coping. Meaning you're done listening to music and you go, now I know why I was being selfish. Oh, I get it. I'm a better person now. Like, that's not how it works, right? You just have to trust. Just like when you think inside your body, when you're like meditating, you're like, where do I feel it? You ever heard those meditations where you're like, where does the pain start when I think about this problem in my life? You're tempted to go, it's there because it's tied to this. Oh, it must be a digestive. You're tempted to have all these answers come out of it. But the practice is you go, no, there is no answer. Every time it pops up, just like with the clouds that pass, right? You say, thank you, and you let it go, no matter how many times. Okay, there is no answer. There is no answer. Just feel the feeling and think about the thought. Feel the feeling, think about the thought. There is no answer. You're wrong. You don't have an answer. And then later, when you get in that situation, you'll notice something different. You'll be like, whoa, like I actually was more mature. I didn't get triggered as hard. How did this happen? It's like, well, because our brains aren't mathematical machines necessarily. They're part of it, right? It's like we're this being that's so vague. That's why I do a whole group on art therapy, the only coping skill, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I like that group though. That was a good one. The box breathing's really
Yeah. Do either one of you need to print anything by chance?
No, I got a printer.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
I was going to try to hook you and say, I need help figuring out my printer. It might just be the ink. That's what it looked like.
Oh, I can help you with that. What is it? Is it not printing at all?
It came out like this, so I'm guessing the black is either a mess or.
It should tell you though, right? It should tell you that.
Oh, if it was bad, it could be dried out,
Is that all we
possibly.
had for today, by the way?
That is.
Okay, cool. I will
That
just shut my stuff down. I can help you before I go.
Yeah.